podcast begins now. Very Caliente with Jennie López. I am Pablo Alsina. Now, we always bring you bilingual and very talented Latino people with us. But today, we wanted to venture out to bring somebody from Africa with an amazing smile and a great story. So, Jennie, lead the intros.
Hi, we're going to have Damilare Adeyeri to join us today. I'm so excited because I don't even know how to describe him with one facet. He's a multidimensional individual. You're going to love his energy. Yes, he's from Nigeria, but he's been in more than 26 countries around the world. He's a TEDx speaker. He's an author. He's a dancer. He's a coach. He's the Joy Activator. And also he's an incredible athlete. So I can't wait for you guys to get to know him. Welcome, Damilare, to Very Caliente. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Jennie. Thank you, Pablo. I'm excited to be here. And I want to tell your listeners, right? I believe that many Latinos or Latin people have African blood anyway. So I'm proud of you.
True, I do. I'm one of those examples from Puerto Rico. I have that lineage and heritage. So absolutely. Pablo, didn't I tell you he has like the biggest contagious smile ever?
Us Latinos, we also have energy and we like to smile, and I see that in you full out. So tell the world, introduce Damilare, what do you do and how are you as a person?
Amazing. Well, thank you. As Jennie said during the intro, I'm a coach, I'm a dancer, I'm a speaker. I've traveled around the world. I love to travel. I've been to 28 countries actually. And I've lived in 8 of those countries. One of the things that endears me to the Latin culture is the music, which means salsa, merengue, bachata, reggaeton, cumbia, all of those dances I know how to do, believe it or not.
What about tango? You didn't mention the
Argentine I actually
tango.
do know some tango. I'm not the very best at tango, but I do know some Argentine tango. However, I like the more percussive music, right? So the drums, the orchestra, when we actually really move your body and feel the groove. I really love that. So that's a big part of what I do. Even dance fitness, I do teach as well. I'm a licensed Zumba instructor. I've been for 13 years now. I do that. And of course, the coaching part of it too. So I worked with Tony Robbins for a couple of years, coaching clients. I was on stage at his events, leading dancing and cranking up the energy. And I like to describe myself as a man of many gifts. You just tell me what you want and boom, there you go. I serve you what you need.
I love that. I love that. Well, let's start digging into it, into all the different facets. I know that you have done a lot of training in dancing and culture as well. And that combination of dancing, but also being a coach. Tell us a little bit about what have you learned or how you coach people, the importance of movement into your state, and how is that so pivotal for your success?
Thank you for asking that question. It's very essential, and there's a lot of research in both psychology and neuroscience that moving our body is beneficial not only for our physical and mental health, but also our emotional and cognitive health. How does that happen? So physically, first of all, when you move your body, you increase the heart rate, which means blood flows through to different parts of your body, increase circulation, which also means then you're taking more oxygen because when you're feeling a little bit, you're exercising your cardiovascular system, which is the heart and the circulatory system. You're taking more air, oxygen, which is our life, basically our lifeblood, the air. You drink more water, which is hydration. And all these things add to your physical health. Now, when you give all that physical health a benefit, guess what happens? Blood also goes through your brain, which means you have more clarity of mind. You're feeling better. And the crazy thing, well, not crazy, but fascinating thing is when we use the word, oh, something is weighing down on me. That term, weighing down on you, it's not just figurative. It literally happens because when we are feeling sad, depressed, or low vibration emotions, our body responds to it. I like to ask this question. When you see somebody walking on the street, head is down, shoulders down, and they're like that, how would you say they're feeling? Sad, depressed, low emotion, not confident. When you see them shoulder back, chest up, eyes looking straight. Yeah, take a little extra breath. They have a little swag. You're like, oh my gosh, they're confident, they're happy, they're energetic. Here's the thing. The person who was feeling low energy, sad, depressed, did they, or do you think they cognitively said, you know what, Jennie? I'm feeling a little bit sad right now, so I'm just going to drop my shoulders and drop my head so that my body can match how I'm feeling. No, they didn't. It automatically happened. And that's the connection between the body and the emotion. Immediately when we feel something internally, our body responds. So what if we can decide I would rather feel this way and then have the body mirror how we want to feel, and it's just a matter of time that you can actually rehearse the emotion you want. I could go on and on about this. I am just literally geeked about this, but I'll stop there so you can ask questions, but I got more from there.
Yeah, no, we want a lot more from that, because like lots of times I'll tell people, I was an improv actor and I kind of use that same motivational tool. Like you tell somebody, how does a successful businessman walk? And instantly they go like this. Well, how does a pretty girl walk? They'll go like this. And then I'm like, well, then how come you don't walk like that always? If you're subconsciously saying exactly what somebody else does, if you don't do it, you're telling yourself that you're not that. Now I ask you, so how can we stay being like that? Because lots of times people are now, okay, I need to be up. Damilare is telling me I need to be up. So now they're drinking 6 coffees or 6 energy boosts, or they're doing all this and they're trying to force it, but they can't sustain it. So like they'll go to Tony Robbins and they'll be in a great mood. They'll go to church and they're on their feet, they're moving, they're in a good mood. Then they'll leave church, they'll leave Tony Robbins, and it's none of that worked. Damilare's a liar, So how can you have them be able to stay up? That's my question to you.
Fantastic question. And it is living with intention. Right, living with intention, so we're getting away from the default mode that we've rehearsed so many years, and then choosing to build it into our routine. So we're not waiting already to feel low energy or sad or tired to move our body. We're doing it. So it could be every hour I move for 5 minutes. After every meeting, I take a sip of water. After every conversation, I take a deep breath. And just have that as something you do. Thank you. Yep. Sip of water, everybody. Mine is not immediately within reach, but that's it. That's it. And have that. And so that as a practice, you already incorporating these things into your day-to-day, that it doesn't become something you have to remember anymore. It's already part of you. In addition, we can use the power of the breath, hydration, and movement together, because all these 3 things makes it even more powerful, right? So it's not just moving your body. I'm on a coaching call, for example, and I'm talking, and a client is making up a story about something that is not real, or what I'll call negative thinking, negative beliefs. And a way to interrupt the pattern or that thought pattern, I'll say, hey, stop. 20 jumping jacks, let's go. I was like, what do you mean? I said, yes, we're going. I'm going to do it with you, and then we continue. So I stop. 20, 19. Now my clients are listening. I'm giving out the trade secret. 18, 17, 20. And then I get to 10 and I go 10, 10, 10, 9, 5, 4, 25, 23. And I scramble the numbers. When I scramble the numbers, guess what happens? They crack up laughing. That brings humor, which again shifts their mental emotional state. When I scramble the numbers, that confuses the brain, because the brain is trying to make sense of what's going on. And guess what happened? When we're confused, an opening happens of an opportunity to learn something new, right? Within that too, there's the multiple tools of, we can do this on ourselves. You can say, hey, I'm good when I'm not getting clarity on a decision, or when I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm going to get up from my work seat and do 20 jumping jacks and count and scramble the numbers myself. And guess what happens? They end up doing 50 jumping jacks or 40, because I scrambled the numbers. Now, if I had told them, hey, we're going to do 40 or 50 jumping jacks, they would have pushed back and said, no, Damilare, I'm not doing it. I'm going to be sweaty, whatever it is, which is actually not really true, depending on where they are. However, when I said 20, it was like, all right, fine, I'll do it to make you happy. They end up doing 20. and then 40, 50, and all those benefits happen. So if you're listening, these are tools you can use every single day to shift your emotional state, to reactivate your energy, to get into joy. It worked.
See, I love that. When I hear that word joy, automatically think of you. And I know you're from Nigeria. Actually, when I visited Africa a couple of years ago, that was my biggest lesson, like the joy of little things that we take for granted and how to live life through that. So, question for you: you have visited more than 28 countries. You have lived in 8 of them. What has been like the number one lesson after living through all those countries that said, you know what, this is success is about this, or life is about this? What have you learned about all those experiences?
From all the countries that I've visited, it really just comes to 3 main things. We all want to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. That's it. Right? And within that happy, however we define it, is quality relationships with ourselves and others, and anything else that contributes to it, right? So there's that one part. The second one is being healthy, right? I want to be able to do the activities of daily life without pain or strain. And it's not really about like working out hard or like, bodybuilding, whatever it is. Can I get up without a lower back pain? As a mom, I'm driving and my baby's at the back, and I turn and try to pick something at the back seat or reach out to my baby without pain on my side, right? On my obliques muscle. Like those things like that. Can I push? Can I bend? Like, bend, stand, those things. So that all contributes to healthy. Within health, of course, if you expand it, is nutrition, hydration, sleep, and rest and recovery, right? So all of that still forms under health, but these are quality of life requirements. And the last thing is wealth. And when I say wealth, we can expand that, right, to be emotional health, mental health, well, of course, wealth. But in this case, I'm going to limit it to financial wealth and say, can I say, hey, I want that ice cream and I'm going to be able to buy it? Or I go to the grocery and I want that noodles or spaghetti, whatever. So it's not extravagant as much as, can I afford my day-to-day needs? And I think for everybody, regardless of where I've been around the world, it always comes back to these 3 things: happy, healthy, wealthy.
That's awesome. Quickly, just so I know, the 8 countries. Okay, can we know the 8 countries you lived in?
I have not shared with you yet, but I'm going to share with you now that you asked. Of course, United States counts as one, which is where we are right now, at least where I am right now. Nigeria counts as the second one, which is where I was born and grew up. And then I have France, which I lived for about a year, maybe like 10 months. I have Hungary, which I also lived for a couple months. Yes, Southeastern Europe. Then I have Norway, which I lived as well. So we're at 5 now. Then I have United Kingdom. In the UK, I lived in London, which is 6. Then I lived in Belgium, in Brussels, which is 7. And then I lived in Singapore, which is all the way in Asia. So those are my 8. And then, of course, here we are. So
Yeah.
I love that. I just love your energy. I love the happy, healthy, wealthy. What do you say to somebody who is stuck in regrets and who's stuck in the past? That's like where, they just can't get over one bad decision, and it's just like, it's really harping on them. I've noticed that it's affected me. It's affected lots of people, regardless of how much money or how much success they had. That one door that closed is now their present gets judged by what they had before. So now it doesn't matter. You can make more money in the stock market. You can do whatever, but you don't have that joy, that win that you had there. How can you close that regret gap? What advice do you have for that?
I tell them something I've heard before, which is true. You are only stuck if you're not moving. That's it. You're stuck because you've chosen to be in a spot, physically and also emotionally. And it sounds cliche, the past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. The past is a place of reference, not a place of residence, which means we can refer to it and learn from it and take wisdom and then move forward, because the only way through is through. You've got to keep moving. And guess what? It starts from the body. Move that energy through the body. Because when we feel stuck, actually, that emotion is stuck in a part of our body, right? There's a research, I think her name is Lori, last name starts with an N, I don't remember exactly, where they mapped different emotions around the body. And you can see the specific site on the body where like anxiety is like around the belly, or like anger is around the chest, or, like all the different emotions. But love and joy is one that literally lights up the whole body. And how do you get there? First, you move the body. And for me, sometimes when I feel, I would call them undesirable emotions, I go like, I just move my body vigorously just to create that shock in my body and reset. And then I take a deep breath, I drink some water. That's a quick reset. If you have a rebounder, go do a rebounder. Jump on the rebounder. Jumping jacks, we just did it. Like anything that raises the heart rate and move the body helps transmute those emotions. And guess what? It then gives clarity of mind to be able to think, okay, what is the way forward? What is the way forward? Because worry does not solve the problem of today. It actually takes away the joy of today and tomorrow, because now we're there right now ruminating. And lastly, like I am so adamant about this, because I do not believe in being stuck. We are being stuck because we're choosing to be stuck. And people will say, oh no, that you're saying that you don't have any empathy or things like that. Hear me out. For us to continue to be angry, sad, or anxious about a situation, we have to keep rehearsing that in our mind. Oh, I can't believe she did that. That's so bad of her, whatever. So every time we're rehearsing that thought is recreating that emotion. Or, oh my gosh, I'm afraid, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, I've never been there before. Guess what? We're rehearsing that thought. And the more we rehearse the thought, the more we're bringing back the emotion. And it just simply stop. Take a deep breath, move your body, drink water, and then reset. Because again, the only way through is through. So anyone who's hearing us now, if you feel stuck, you're not stuck. You're just not moving. Move the energy through the body. Rejuvenate yourself with breath, hydration, and movement. And then refocus, because there's a way forward that you've not seen.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like Tony Robbins says, there's always a way. There's always a way. When you were talking about the reset, I remember of a coach of mine that had a pillow, and the pillow was her reset. That was a yelling pillow. Ah! And then that's how she reset it. Hey, quick question for you, Damilare. I know that you help a lot of people unlock their potential and get to things that they've never done before. You are a multi-marathon runner. You've done Ironman races, things that only very, very few people have been able to do it. Walk us through that. Like, is that something that you say, oh, yeah, I can do that? Or you thought it was impossible and still went for it?
Oh my gosh. Well, all right. So here's the thing. I believe if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. And what does that mean? That means that problems or challenges, when they come our way, if we can say just for a moment, I chose this, the way we approach it is different from when we say, oh, this happened to me. One, okay? Now, the other part of it is, if as part of your routine life, you choose challenges like I do, guess what happens? You're building the muscle. So you're not waiting until a challenge happens in your life to try to build resilience. You're building resilience through the way you live your life. It's like you're going to the gym already to build the strength so that when you need to lift something, you already can lift it. It's the same thing. So doing an Ironman, doing a multi-day fast, doing jumping jacks, working out, all these things are things that I have baked into my life to keep me strengthening my mental, physical, emotional strength such that life happens. I mean, life is not a straight line. Life is a zigzag, so that when life happens, I've already built the muscle to go into it. Because guess what? If we don't build the muscle before the problem happens, the world, life, situations will force us into the situations. And guess what? We still have to build it anyway, but it's harder because now we're not prepared for it. And long story short, when I did an Ironman, it was because I grew up not knowing how to swim. In fact, I almost drowned as a young man. My brother almost drowned. My sister almost drowned. I lost a childhood friend to a drowning incident. And as an adult, I decided I cannot continue to live my life in fear of the water. How or what would I need to do to overcome this fear? And already I enjoyed cycling, I enjoyed running, and I said, you know what? I've got to do a triathlon. Because to be able to bike and run, you have to complete the swim first. Mm-hmm. And it's easier, or at least for me, I know it's easier for me to commit to a daily practice of something when there's a bigger goal ahead, when there's something I'm working towards. So it may have been harder for me to say, oh, I'm just going to go swimming every day without having like a big goal in mind, right? So for me, registering for a race, having a triathlon ahead of me was what kept me in the saddle, was what kept me in the water. And just like that, I was going to the pool 3 to 5 days a week, practice my swimming. I paid for a swimming instructor. I had a triathlon coach. I was doing my long bikes. I was doing my runs. And over time, eventually I did Ironman Chattanooga, which anyone listening who does not know, it's a 2.4 mile swim, in this case in the Tennessee River. Right after, no break, you bike 112 miles of cycling. In this case, I did 116 because Chattanooga was 4 miles more. Then you go right away to do a marathon, 26.2 miles. And I joke, I said the first time I ever ran a marathon was in an Ironman. After I swam to about 4 miles and I biked 116 miles, right? And so that's mental, emotional, endurance, because it's even beyond the physical. Of course, the many times, here's another thing people don't really know. When you do an Ironman, you cannot have like AirPods and music and other things that many runners take. So no device, no phone, no music. So it's just you and your thoughts. Of course, there are people cheering, whatever it is. So now all those thoughts that you've not dealt with, it's you and them. So again, you're forced to become intentional, to choose your language and all the other things that you need to keep yourself in a mental, emotional state. I did it. And I did several races after that. I did Ironman 70.3 in Sydney, Australia. I did what is called the Intimidator in Clermont, Florida. I did Ironman 70.3 in Florida. I did Cocoa Beach Triathlon, and it's just been a joy, yes, joy, to do these things because, I chose it as a fun challenge to build that resilience such that as life happens, I am prepared.
Amazing.
That is awesome. Damilare Adeyeri, before letting us go, because your energy is awesome. Let's pretend we walk into your coaching class and your two guests are Pablo and Jennie. What are you telling the crowd? What are you telling us to get us pumped right at the start once you take the stage? Just so people get a little taste of what it would be like.
Tell you shift happens, which actually is the title of my book. Right? Because I don't know how much your audience listens to real language, like they call it cursing sometimes, but shit happens. So the book Shift Happens is a play on shit happens. So when shit happens, make shift happen, which literally means when things happen in your world that are unexpected, you can create that shift through the reset. And so wave your hands, dance, listen to music, take a deep breath, drink some water. All of these things create shifts in your life to create that reset that you needed to re-engage, to make your life the most amazing masterpiece that ever existed, because you were wonderful, you were great, you're amazing, you are the one you've been waiting for, and the key to redesigning your life every moment at a time is in your hands. Make shift happen.
Yes, love it. What a way to end this show, Damilare. Hey, for everybody who wants to buy your book, they want to hire you as a coach, they want to hire you as their Joy Activator, because that actually is his brand, Damilare, the Joy Activator. How can they find you?
Absolutely. So my book is on Amazon, Amazon.com in the US, Amazon.ca in Canada, Amazon.de in Germany, Amazon.com.au in Australia, all over the world. You can get my book on Amazon. It's called Shift Happens. Absolutely go get it there. My website is joyinsideout.com. You can find me there and contact me. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on all the places. The Joy Activator, Damilare Adeyeri. I would love to connect with you. Ask me a question, ask more details, ask me to expand on what we talked about, present me with a situation, explore coaching together, hire me to come speak at your event. Whatever it is, just reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited when you said, yes, let's do it. I knew that your energy was going to connect with everybody who will be watching right now this episode. Pablo, do you want to close us?
He is Damilare Adeyeri, and thank you for the joy, thank you for the energy, thank you for all the free tips that we got in these amazing 20 minutes. She is Jennie López, I am Pablo Alsina, and this was very, very caliente.
Woo! Like this.
Let me
Very hot.